We're here with Matt from Judge's Farm in Connecticut, and he wanted to showcase some of the native plant wares that he has with him this day.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andrew. Thanks for having me on this fine sunny day. Yeah, so we're from down on the shore, Ecoregion 59 as well. We've specialized in pretty things perennials for a long time, 25 years now, selling predominantly to garden centers up in this area. And lately we've noticed a real surge in interest with natives. So we have catered our business in that direction. And today I loaded up the car for Andrew to see with lots of straight species natives. Straight species natives for us have jumped to the fore of best sellers right down the list. Echinacea purpurea, best-selling echinacea we grow. We grow 20 echinaceas, purpurea is the best. Liatris spicata, better than Kobold, better than Floristan, and on down the list. I mean, Geranium maculatum. You know, there's tons of beautiful perennial geraniums. Geranium maculatum is our best seller. So that's telling us all something.
But what for me and the practical use in the landscape in our meadow gardens is truly the either self-seeding or replication of those species that isn't necessarily as reliable when we're dealing with cultivars. Some cultivars are going to be basically a straight or a native species that was just clonally reproduced for certain characteristics, while others, like the Kobold, might be more of a hybridized type cultivation to get artificially small growth characteristics. So the long-term persistence of these plants in the landscape is going to have that much higher success when you're looking at the straight species.
Well said. Yeah.
Excellent.
So here's a little rundown of what I brought today. Gallons in the back. We've got Solidagos. We've got Penstemon digitalis. We've got Zigzag goldenrod or Astercordifolia. We've got Pycnanthemum muticum here, perennial of the year. That made us excited.
Really, this year?
Yeah.
Really?
2025 perennial of the year, Pycnanthemum muticum. Straight species, you know, lovely summer bloomer, super prolific blooming, great seed production, will self-sow readily, will spread slowly, loves a sunny meadow site, average moisture.
Yeah, this is a plant that I utilize quite often. So I look at like traditional landscapes, and I joke that there's the bulletproof plant list that landscapers would use, the hostas, the yews, the formerly burning bush. This is on my top native bulletproof list. I've yet to find a site that this really won't do well in.
Great.
Quality and sheen to the top that really just adds a punch to it. And it's literally covered. I look at this as like when you're in the food desert of suburban development, you'll just attract every single pollinator around when this is in bloom in August. So like
long blooming too, right? August, September.
It does pretty well. I don't really deadhead it, so I haven't tried to artificially kind of extend it. But yeah, I would say a good 3 to 4 weeks solid overlapping bloom tends to happen with this.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, so some good common stuff. And also some plants that maybe used to be common, but you know, through reforestation or development, etc. Asclepias verticillata. I mean, world milkweed, gorgeous, you know, upright habit, needle-like foliage, bright, soft pink blooms, summertime. Again, you know, butterfly magnet, an important host plant for butterflies as well. So it's been fun to bring this one into the fore.
Yeah, this is a new one for me. I have seen it at Russell's, and I know you're to blame now for it, as they have a great selection. But yeah, this is one I definitely want to try out this year. We're planting along a rail trail, so it's going to be kind of a semi-natural setting, but still connected to the public. And this would be a plant that I'd be really eager to try out there.
Right, bony soils, take some shade, like sun, take some shade. So yeah, in the rail bed, it would do great. So there's a little tour of the gallons. What I'm really excited about is our 3.5-inch local ecotype perennials.
And I love this planting format. Sorry to interrupt, but I love the plug and smaller container planting format because what people kind of don't necessarily realize is
That's all right.
Is plugs and these type size plants are often, just months, if not only a season behind the bigger containers. But this provides a really nice, affordable option to really densely plant a space versus the wider spaced out plants. And certainly the muticums, the pycnanthemums that do have that spreading quality, I do like the gallons for that. But when I get into more of the accent type layers within our meadows, I really love these plug and 3.5-inch size formats.
That's well put. We actually use this plug size for our own production at the farm. We grow lots of extra of these and shift them into gallons as needed. It's a 3 to 4 week finish. And sometimes even less for a really vigorous plant, because you're starting with a nice, well-rooted, well-grown starter plant. This is Euthymia caroliniana, which is super awesome.
This is new to me.
It's golden top, slender golden top. Used to be a goldenrod. Now it's golden top. It's the smaller cousin to graminifolia, which is grass-leafed golden top. But this one blooms at 18 inches tall. So for front of the border, it's a tremendous accent plant, and it's covered with gold in September, early fall.
So this will be another one I'm really curious. Again, especially at that rail trail site, this is where I love, because I love, again, local ecotype, straight species for those types of settings where you're not managing it as frequently as a home landscape, and having the ability for that sexual reproduction to occur on its own.
That thing will self-sow readily.
And the height, the natural height of being that foreground plant, because I do like to stage my plantings. And so having a naturally short foreground in that 2-foot height range is key. So this is going to be another one I'd love to try this year.
Say let's get more of these up in Massachusetts, because we are all in the same ecoregion. Ecoregion 59 extends from the far eastern reaches of Westchester County, New York, western Long Island, up through Connecticut, right up through just south of Worcester to Boston, and up to Portland, Maine. So we're all in the same ecoregion. Many of these plants were collected in the ecoregion down in New London County. So they belong there and they belong here, as you so aptly described, Andrew. So yeah, let's make it happen.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Matt. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
This is really, really exciting to see.